Hi, my name is Marcel and I play an electronic drum kit. In an earlier video you might have seen that my drum kit is not shaped like an acoustic drum kit. You might also have seen that I do not play like an acoustic drummer either. In this video series I would like to show you how my style of playing is different. As you probably know, all drum modules also contain lots of percussion sounds. It is really good fun to try and combine drums and percussion with or without using sequences. In this video I will give you two examples of drum covers in which I combine drums and percussion without using sequences. I will show you how I play Devil Inside by my favorite band InXS and Let's Dance by David Bowie, one of my favorite songs when I started drumming. So stay tuned for details on how I play those songs. The need for percussion obviously depends on the style of music you are playing. Rock music usually does not contain a lot of percussion. You might hear a cowbell or a tambourine now and then. But pop and dance music can contain a fair amount of percussion. To most people, percussion might not feel as important as the drums, but percussion can be important in the way that it can add a certain feel to a song. My rule of thumb is that whenever the percussion or samples play an important role, I try to incorporate that in my drumming. Whenever I need single percussion sounds like a cowbell or a tambourine, I usually play that with my left hand. Not too big a deal. But whenever I need continuous percussion sounds, that can be difficult. In most cases, the snare drum is steady on the second and the fourth beat. If that is the case, it makes sense to me that I play the snare drum with my left foot. That frees up my left hand to play percussion. Let me play an example. Kick and snare, hi-hat and some conga. I can play percussion with one hand and still play the hi-hat. Or I can play percussion with two hands and skip the hi-hat. If I want a challenge, I could try to combine percussion and hi-hat and still play open hi-hat. Learning how to play like this is not too difficult. First practice playing the snare with your left foot. If you are comfortable, try to add the percussion played with your left hand. If you can do these kinds of grooves, there are many similar grooves you will be able to play. One of the songs by my favorite band InXS includes percussion in a way that could be combined with the drum part. It is the song Devil Inside. In this song I call the cross stick sound and the electronic thumb sounds percussion, even though the sounds themselves aren't far from drum sounds. But it is more in the way the sounds are used in the song. These kinds of sounds feel like percussion, so I choose to call the tom pattern a percussion pattern. I already made a drum cover of that song. Here's a piece of that cover with the original music and a piece with just the drum audio. Like a lot of other pop bands, InXS used a sequencer to play these kinds of songs live. But I prefer to play the percussion and the drums myself. Like I've done a minute ago, I played the snare drum with my left foot and the percussion with my left hand. And at some point the snare is added. Now, I have to admit this is kind of wobbly, because if you want to do this right, you have to practice. And it has been a while ago since I played this, so I'm kind of wobbly. If you want to watch the whole cover with the original music mixed in, click in the frame here on your right. This next cover is special to me. When I started drumming as a young kid, I heard this song and I thought to myself, wow, that is a difficult groove. If I could learn to play that, that would be awesome. Well, not too long after that, I learned the basic rock rhythm and several variations. The feeling of awesomeness disappeared soon after. As it turned out, it wasn't that difficult. But I still think this is a great song, and the album is still great as well, partly because the drum sound is very powerful. When planning for this video series, I listened to lots of songs trying to list songs that could illustrate my style of playing. When I listened to this song, I heard a fair bit of percussion. Also, an online friend, Camille, suggested that I cover this song. That made me decide to make a drum cover of this song, Let's Dance by David Bowie. At this time, I haven't recorded it, so I can try to explain to you how I plan to play it, but I have to say I didn't practice it, and also my drum kit settings are not prepared for recording as well. So just let me play you a piece of the original and then I'll explain what I intend to do before recording the cover. At various moments in the song there is a snare sound with a lot of reverb. I play that snare on a separate pad on my left hand. This is my default snare, and this is a snare with lots of reverb. There are several ways to add the reverb. The first way would be to use the built-in effects of the drum module. If your drum module cannot generate any effect, you could send that second snare out to a separate output. You could then add reverb on your mixer or through external effects. Also, you could add reverb afterwards using software. Now, in the middle of the song, when the lead vocals stop, percussion kicks in. In this song, the percussion part is a bit too complicated to play with a single hand. So I will need both my hands to play the percussion. That means I have to play the snare with my left foot as I did in a previous drum cover. Only now I need to alternate between two snares. This is the groove that I play with kick and snare and hi-hat only. First with the snare on my hand, then the snare on my foot. In the solo where I need both my hands for the percussion, I will give myself permission to skip the closed hi-hat. Like I said before, it's a matter of priority. But occasionally there is an open hi-hat as well, because that sound is on the 4th note and I play 16th notes with both my hands. The best place for that open hi-hat sound is on my right hand side. The percussion has to be played with both my hands. As I mentioned, I haven't recorded it, but it should contain some conga sounds. I need to practice it before I record it, that's for sure. Also, there is a tambourine at some point and some kind of percussion sounds, again with some delay. As I mentioned, I haven't recorded this drum cover yet. I haven't even practiced this drum cover. So I apologize, I cannot play the complete groove at this time. But if you have watched the entire series, I'm pretty sure when you see the results, you will know how I played it. When the cover is recorded and published, I will put a link here in this frame on the right. So if that's not clickable, the drum cover is not published yet. This is the end of part 9 of this series. I hope this series will inspire people to see electronic drum kits as different instruments compared to acoustic drums. Some might say I use tricks, others might say I cheat. I guess a lot of people follow rules and conventions. For me, music is about being creative and trying new things. In the next part, I will show you examples of how I combine drums and samples. Thanks for watching.